The season's over. It's just gone for the Minnesota Vikings, and it's tough. I think that as fans, we were expecting a lot more, and it didn't end up that way. In fact, it's a little frustrating, especially with how things really ended against the Giants, but it is what it is. Wish the Giants nothing but the best moving forward. They're going to need it. Playing the Eagles, the Eagles are a really good team. I think they're probably the team to beat in the NFC at this point. But here are 5. Now that the season is done, there are moves that the Vikings need to make. Here are 5 of them, and it all starts, I think this is the first one is pretty self-explanatory, and move to make number 1 fire DC Ed Donatel. Defensive coordinator Ed Donatel needs to go. Just go. I realize that, at the end of the day, when you're going through the season, there's a lot of different things that happen in games, whether you blitz players, whether you don't blitz players, whether you make adjustments or you don't make adjustments, whatever it is. But this defense is too talented to make as many mistakes as it has this entire season. It has been allowing over 400 yards a game for most of the games this year. Allowing a lot of different points to be scored on them, especially 31 points for the Giants, who haven't scored that many points the entire season pretty much. I think there was only 2 games, I believe, that the broadcasters talked about. But the fact that the Giants with Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley put up 31 points on you in your own building, unexcusable. Absolutely unexcusable. I think that Ed Donatel needs to go. I don't care who they bring in, as long as, again, and I know a lot of people want to put this game on Kirk Cousins and the fact that, yes, he checked it down on 4th and 8. I put this entire game on the defense. I really do. I think that this defense was so bad under Ed Donatel that there's so many moves that they need to make. It's not even funny. It needs to be the major focus this offseason, whether it's, bringing back players, and we're going to talk about this in a second, bringing back players and who to bring back and who to draft and all that. But the defense needs to be the number 1 focus in the offseason. And it needs to be the top priority, if you ask me. Now, the number 2 priority and the second move that the Vikings need to make, extend Justin Jefferson. I think that, with a guy that, had over 1,700 receiving yards this year, led the NFL, absolute stud. Yes, we know that Justin Jefferson, he also did disappear against the Giants, but overall, he was absolutely lethal this year. Needs to be a guy that is the number 1 guy to go get. He needs to be all the money. I don't care. Just dump the money out on his desk and walk away, because Justin Jefferson is that guy. And I know what a lot of people are going to say. Oh, well, only 6 catches or 7 catches against the Giants for 50 yards or whatever it was. Listen, Justin Jefferson, if you watch the games that, especially that he has been kind of taken out of, he has been literally triple covered in a lot of different facets here. And seems to be nobody on the Vikings other than TJ Hawkinson that's going to step up for him. So I think that Justin Jefferson, he needs to get all the money. They need to bring in another number 2 wide receiver, and we'll get into that a little bit later on. But Justin Jefferson, just give him all the money. Move to make number 3, extend/cut certain players. Now, again, we're going to go show you the numbers here in a little bit, but this is going to be the end for a lot of players for the Vikings, unfortunately. I mean, guys like Harrison Smith, guys like Dalvin Cook and all that, they need to seriously take a look at some of the guys that they want to bring back next year. Here's just a couple. We'll bring out more of an updated list, but I mean, if you look at Dalvin Cook and Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook, if you just straight up cut him, you're going to end up with $6.2 million dead and save about $8 million there. So yeah, you love that move over there potentially. Also with Dalvin Cook, with Adam Thielen, You're a guy that is going to make nearly $20 million as a cap hit in 2023, and if you just straight up cut him, that's $13.5 million on the dead cap. So potentially a guy that you would definitely want to restructure and throw some of that down, but definitely something that needs to be changed with Dalvin Cook and Adam Thielen. Then again, it's who you're going to bring back. Garrett Bradbury had a fantastic year this year. I know he did get absolutely demolished against Dexter Lawrence, but I mean, come on, he was coming back from injury. You were wondering how it was all going to come back, but this year he made $3.2 million. Now his market value, according to SpotRack, is $12 million. Don't know that he's going to get that. In fact, I would say more in the range of $6 to $8 million, I think, what the Vikings should offer him. I mean, he could definitely take that $12 million and run if he's going to get that from another team. I understand it. And also, at the same time, you might just want to move on from him. He was a good player for the Vikings this year, but did struggle his first, 4 years in the NFL, 3 or 4 years in the NFL. So it just is what it is at this point. If you want to move on from him, I mean, I get it, but I would also potentially, if you can get him for the right amount of money, I think you could potentially look at bringing him back. Also, cornerback Patrick Peterson, absolute stud this year. I believe getting votes for an All-Pro, Pro Bowler as well. $4 million he made this year. Market value at $6.4 million. I mean, if he's still got a little bit of tread left on the tires, I don't mind bringing him back. Was a guy that really showed up for the Vikings defense and did make a lot of moves there. Also, running back Alexander Mattison was an absolute stud this year. Really was that 1-2 punch for the Vikings. Made out over $867,000 this year. Probably going to make over $2 million and kind of a feature role, being the starting back for another potential team. Maybe the Vikings bring him back instead of Delvin Cook. I don't know, but overall, Alexander Mattison is a guy maybe you want to potentially bring back as well. Move to make number 4, find a true shutdown cornerback. I know we talked about Patrick Peterson. I know that Duke Shelley was that dude on the right side of the field for the Vikings, but looking at what a guy like Sauce Gardner did for the Jets this year, it just really wasn't even close. Duke Shelley needs to be getting a contract extension, another player that you want to take back this year, absolutely. But it's there's no alpha dog on the Vikings. Patrick Peterson's probably going to be out for the next. When I say alpha dog, I'm talking about for the years, from years from now until 5-6 years down the line. Patrick Peterson's probably going to be gone in the next couple of years. Duke Shelley, who knows? He played really well this year. Yes, you got guys like Andrew Booth Jr., Caleb Evans, and all that. Also Cameron Dancer. Prayers up, for everyone involved in that situation. Hopefully everything's okay with his family moving forward and everything. But I do think that the Vikings need to find a true shutdown cornerback, a guy that's going to come in, get it done in a lot of different ways. And so I think it's going to be very, very interesting for the Vikings moving forward. They need to go get their true shutdown corner. And again, if that's just developing a Caleb Evans and guys like Andrew Booth Jr. Moore or Cameron Dantzler, fine. But I want to see this defense take a big step forward. Also, move to make number 5 that has huge future implications. You need to find and draft the future quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings. Now, again, I understand that there's a couple quarterbacks you could be interested in. Guys like Bryce Young and CJ Stroud probably are going to be gone by the time the Vikings pick. Yes, Will Levis probably also going to be gone. Anthony Richardson, a strong possibility as well. But when you start getting towards the end of that first round, guys like Tanner McKee, Spencer Rattler, Malik Cunningham could be there. Jaron Hall, another guy that I'm really excited about, had 31 touchdowns this year for BYU. So, also Hendon Hooker, a guy, maybe you get him in the second or third round, maybe even later than that. So I think that the Vikings, here's the thing, they've got a first round draft pick, they don't have a second. So if they find that they're in a position where they do have a guy that they like later in the first round, go by all means. I think you should go ahead and take him, develop him for another year behind Kirk Cousins. But at the end of the day, they need to make sure that whoever they pick next really is the future signal caller for the Vikings. If you like a guy, go up and get him. And if you don't like a guy, don't force the pick. The Vikings are in a situation where you've got another quarterback this year. Kirk Cousins also, going to be with the Vikings for at least another year, hopefully. And maybe that's another move they need to make. Maybe they need to extend Kirk Cousins. I don't know, but at the end of the day, they need to draft the future quarterback. I think that's the route you go, especially with Kirk Cousins doing everything he could to be able to get the job done, and it just didn't quite come to fruition that way. So if you're the Vikings, I think you need to go draft the future quarterback and potentially find a way to extend Kirk Cousins maybe for a season, maybe two, I don't know, or maybe if there's a quarterback at the very least that you like in the later rounds, maybe you want to develop him for a year or two, maybe that's the route you go. But I think that the Vikings are in a good position moving forward, but overall, I think that they need to definitely go get their future signal caller. But that's it. Those are the 5 moves that we think the Minnesota Vikings need to make sure you guys like and subscribe down below. Leave a like and a comment. It helps people find the show. We greatly appreciate all the support that we've gotten and continue to get. You guys are all truthfully awesome. We love every single one of you. Down in the description below, you'll find all of our social media platforms. So give us a like and a follow there. Also remember to give us a listen and sub on iTunes. And finally, if you have anything else you'd like us to cover, send us an email at thesportsbp@yahoo.com or put it in the comment section down below, and we would love to cover. But let us know what you guys think, and maybe if we missed a move that you want the Vikings to make, let us know in the comment section down below. But at least let us know what you guys think about our 5 moves the Minnesota Vikings need to make this offseason.